On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
There's conversations that's up for debate, and then there's opportunities to learn. I don't think that women know the difference in a lot of these situations. I think that a lot of times they only see things one way, which a lot of times in most of these instances, it's the worst thing for them because they don't know when and when not to, be able to listen versus being able to be combative or try to have a conversation or debate. And I think it's a complete difference. So when I just literally listened to that whole situation, right? That exchange between you and Kay, and you were trying to impart a certain level of wisdom from a man's perspective. And the only thing that she wanted you to do was answer of whether or not it was fear. And even though you answered the question, you answered it multiple times, you said, no, has nothing to do with fear. It still kept being the same question over and over and over again. And almost to the point to where she was trying to make a point instead of trying to actually get some understanding. And I think that it's a difference.
Rilla, what are your thoughts about it? Let me get a man's perspective. I'm going to kind of flip-flop back and forth between the men and the women. But should men adjust their tone with women and men?
So my immediate answer is I hate doing
everybody mute in between.
Yes. As leaders, you have to know how to read the room, right? However, here's the interesting thing. Men already we already adjust our tone when we encounter another man. What do I mean by that? If you look at the dialogue on Tuesdays, right? Most of the brothers, even when we disagree, there's still a tone in the way that we deal with each other out of mutual respect. Also out of understanding that it could go there real quick. And amongst men, that's not pretty. So we already understand to adjust our tone to other men. You know what I'm saying? Now, when it goes there, ain't no turning back. Ain't no, whoever the bad is, knock this off my shoulder or whatever. We swinging. When the dough swing, you swing, right? So now with women, this is the interesting thing. Women will say stuff like, you don't know how to talk to me. You need to adjust your tone, but you don't hear me until I'm assertive and aggressive with you. You don't really hear me until I get in my big boy voice. And like the whole time I'm trying to, hey, listen, now, baby girl, come on, you got to believe in me, baby. You got to trust that what I'm saying is the best for the both of us. But you know what I'm saying? You smooth talking it. But then when you get assertive and aggressive and you borderline, I don't even think it's borderline Aggie all the time. It's just that when you get in your Mufasa voice, then that's when you get people's attention and you get the results. So it's interesting to me that women often call for men to adjust their tone, but you still don't respond until you hear that bass in their voice, right? It's interesting because when we sit on this panel, right, JR be cool the whole show. Everybody wilding, dumbing out, whoop-de-woo. It's like coming into a lunchroom table. And you know what I always think about, JR, when you talk about how your granddad is, right? You say your granddad don't say much, but then by the time he say something like not in my house, or I don't remember what the phrase is.
Yeah, he say he don't want no yelling in his house.
I don't want no yelling in my house. By the time you hear JR raise his voice, everybody already know. Now, why he got to get to that level? Why does he have to adjust his tone and go to that level to get everybody's attention? And then people start to settle down. So, I think it's a matter of reading the room. Like, yeah, you're going to come in smooth with it, but then shoot, when you got to make a point, man. And you know what's interesting? People will say, oh, that person's being emotional. No, they're not. They setting boundaries. They reading the room and setting the temperature. That's what they're doing.
So
Chicago, I have a question.
Go ahead, Kay.
Okay, I have one question for Chicago because I get what you were saying. I'm not pushing back on that at all. But can you tell me why? Tell us why. Sometimes a man will be way more willing to speak to a woman in a more, what some might think is an out-of-pocket way. But then when it's a man, it's like, oh, it's all love, bro. I love you. Even though you called me this and questioned my manhood and my sexuality and did all these things, it's all respect and I respect you and da-da-da-da-da. And speak to them, wait, hold on, more respectfully. But then if a woman says something that they just don't like, that's not disrespectful, they will go in. Some people, not everybody, some people Why do you think that that is the case? You're on mute.
Good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I kind of already alluded to that, right?
I know, alluded. I just wanted a direct,
Oh, well, I was already direct when I said men understand between one another, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can go there very quickly, right? Now, the other part of your question, I don't understand. You're saying when men are talking to women that they disagree with, you said the men can do what again?
So when you're saying they can go there very quick, a man can go there very quickly.
Men understand between each other that there's a low level threat of violence that can occur at any point in time, right?
So is there fear?
I definitely wouldn't classify that as fear. I don't think.
So if you're saying there's a low level threat of violence and that's the deterrent, wouldn't it be fear?
No, okay.
So then what is it? That's what I'm asking.
Let me ask you this, Kay. Let me ask you this.
No, I was just asking
how
that.
Many more questions do we have on this?
No, I was just asking that first.
I got you. I'm just asking how many more questions because I wanted to get to a landing point because I don't want to do a whole,
Okay, I was asking this first. Is it fear? Like if you're like, man, there's a low level.
I don't know how many different ways you want me to answer the question. I said that between men, it has nothing to do with fear. It's men understand between each other. It can go there, right? It can go there very quickly. And once it gets there, there's no returning back. Like it's gonna be some furniture moving.
But
right?
when
Now,
you're a woman, I'm trying to see the difference.
So this is what I think. Okay. What difference are you trying to see, Kay? You think that men should wait? Let me ask you this: are you saying that men should address women the same?
No, I'm not. I was asking.
Mm-hmm.
I already know I'm not saying whatever you're about to say. I'm asking you, why is there a low level? You said there's a low level threat of violence. So I'm asking, is that the only difference? Are you more, not you, but whoever, more scared to come at a man
it that way? I just said I wouldn't classify it that way, and I don't think men are scared.
But you feel comfortable coming at a woman a certain way because you don't feel that threat of violence. Well,
here's the truth of the matter, Kay. Women oftentimes feel more comfortable coming at men any kind of way.
No, but the question,
because they're not subject to violence. They're not subject to that threat at all.
I get it, but the
men already understand. Hold on, okay, let me answer your question.
No, because you're trying to turn it all around.
Hey, you can't wait a minute. Listen, ma'am. Let's I mean, I don't know what you want to do, JR, with this.
Okay, but the question,
hey, what you can't do is try and frame the question and then get me to answer a way that you
I'm not trying to do that.
Are you sure? Because I answered your question multiple times.
And you said there's a low level threat.
Gosh.
You said there's a low level threat of violence.
Okay.
You said you answered
I'm asking you a question. I'm concerned at this point. Are you okay?
Yes. You said there's a low level threat of violence when it's.
I don't know what man on this panel don't understand that. Does any other women understand when I answer the question that way? Wait. I just want confirmation. Does
my goodness. Why do you want
confirmation? Hold on, man. It's just.
Why do you, I'm trying to ask you, Chicago?
I mean, I answered it. I don't know.
I know. I have another question.
I might not be able to answer that for you, Kay. You might have to go to the encyclopedia to get that answer. It appears that I can't answer anything for you. No, I don't know anything tonight. I don't answer questions.
Okay, you don't want to answer.
I don't answer questions.
I respect that.
Okay. Jesus, I don't know.
Hey, what y'all have me walk into tonight, man?
I'm just trying to see if prayer works.
What?
What's going on?
I thought I had a master prayer. I thought I pulled up, man.
You can't help some people, really. You can't protect women from themselves.
I am confused, bro.
It's not even a factor of understanding. It's the need to be right. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing about it is,
Anton, can you answer?
I'm sorry. I'll answer after I give.
Perfect. Go ahead.
I'll give my insight. A lot of times, I don't think that women can differentiate between like a debate or a conversation and a learning opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'll give you an example, right? Like when Kev come on a panel, and because I talk to him offline a lot of times, when he come on a panel, I know that he's about to bring a certain level of perspective, especially from the perspective of a guy that's of a certain age, that's lived through a certain, and it's a learning opportunity. And so you extend more grace because you understand that he's about to impart possibly some wisdom that'll help you be able to navigate a certain type of way, right? There's conversations that's up for debate, and then there's opportunities to learn. I don't think that women know the difference in a lot of these situations. I think that a lot of times they only see things one way, which a lot of times in most of these instances, it's the worst thing for them because they don't know when and when not to, be able to listen versus being able to be combative or try to have a conversation or debate. And I think it's a complete difference. So when I just literally listened to that whole situation, right? That exchange between you and Kay, and you were trying to impart a certain level of wisdom from a man's perspective. And the only thing that she wanted you to do was answer of whether or not it was fear. And even though you answered the question, you answered it multiple times, you said, no, has nothing to do with fear. It still kept being the same question over and over and over again. And almost to the point to where she was trying to make a point instead of trying to actually get some understanding. And I think that it's a difference.